when you hear something like the cost of eggs has gone up 25% since last year, or that the housing market, there's a 20% decrease, from year to year, or whatever the case may be, describing changes in terms of percentages, we call that percent change or percent of change. So how do you calculate that percent? Well, it's this formula here. So you take whatever, let's say the price of eggs, for example. You take what the new price, the current price of the eggs is, minus the old amount, depending what year you might be referencing, and then divide it by the old amount. You'll get a decimal, multiply it by 100 to convert it to a percent. So let's do an example here just to illustrate it. So we'll look at population, for example. This is another scenario or instance where percent change is often looked at. So let's say a village had 279 people living there in 2011. But now, in 2025, there are 204 people living there. So what was the percent change in population from 2011 to 2025, I'm sorry. So we just use our formula. So percent change is equal to the new amount. So how many people are living in the village now? Well, there's 204. And then we're going to subtract the old amount, or the amount of people that were living there in 2011. And then we're going to divide it by that old amount, so 279. Break out the calculator, so 204 minus 279, all of that divided by 279. That's going to give us percent change is equal to 0.2688, we'll call it. But remember, we want this to be a percent, so we're going to just move the decimal place over twice, or equivalent as saying is just multiply by 100. So our percent change is going to equal 26.88. Actually, we should make that negative. This number is negative when you put it in the calculator because it's a decrease, right? The population was 279 people to begin with, and now we're down to 204. So the percent change is going to be negative in this case. Okay, here's a few more examples. So let's say that eggs now cost $8 a dozen, but in 2019 they were $5 a dozen. So what's the percent change? Just use the formula. We'll take our current price, $8, minus the old price, $5, divided by the old price, so $5. So that's going to come out to be, is it 3 over 5, which is going to be 0.60 when you convert that to a decimal, but we want a percent, so we're going to express that as 60%. So eggs, using these numbers from 2019 to now, have gone up in price by 60%. All right, so let's look at gas. So gas now is $3.50. Gas in 2009 was $2.01. So what's the percent change? Again, you take your current price of $3.50, you subtract your old price, and then divide by the old price. So we'll break the calculator out for this. So 350 minus 201 divided by 201 is going to be 0.741. And we want to convert this to 8%. So all I'm going to do is just move the decimal place over twice, or multiply by 100, and that's going to be a 74.1% increase in price, right? When our percentage comes out to be positive, that means that there's a increase in the cost. So let's look at here, talking about NBA Finals viewership. So and this is for Game 7, just for reference. So Game 7 just happened not too long ago between Pacers and OKC, and for Game 7, 16.35 million people tuned in to watch it. But back in 2005, when it was, I think, the Spurs and Pistons, there were 19 million people that watched Game 7. So what's the percent change? We take our current number, 16.35. And I'm not going to write it out with all the zeros because we're talking about millions here. I don't have to do that because both of the numbers that I'm working with are in terms of millions. So I can just use 16.35, we'll do minus 19 and divide by 19. So what does that come out to be? That's going to be 16.35 minus 19 divided by 19. That's going to be negative 0.139. Again, convert to a percent from the decimal. Just move the decimal place over to the right twice or multiply by 100, and you'll get negative 13.9%. So we see the viewership has gone down. So a few examples. Hopefully this makes sense.